Okay, we are live on YouTube. So, hello YouTube. Today I'm here with Cesar. Today we're gonna talk about some questions interview. Um, First of all, let me explain a little bit about the platform. I'm not a teacher, I'm a student as well. So this is not a regular class, and I'm here. I'm not here, I mean, and you know, I'm not here to teach you anything, However, you are gonna learn by practicing in a real environment. And it is a safe place to make some mistakes and improve your English. Um, First of all, we can start with the first step, following the script. And we always start the immersion introducing ourselves. So go ahead, Cesar. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, hello YouTube. My name is Cesar. I'm based in São Paulo, Brazil. I have over 10 years of experience in IT, and I made talking in the last year, but I just joined to the group last month. I think maybe 2 months ago. And my goal with English learning is to get job in USA or Europe. Currently, I'm working for a US company, but I'm actively looking for new opportunities. And in my free time, I like to play snooker, drive away, and travel. That's it.
Very nice. So you have already the experience to apply for international interviews, right?
Right, that's it.
Good, good one. So maybe you could tell us a little bit how was the process? Uh,
Yeah.
First of all, let me told you about myself. My name is Elton. I'm a guy from São Paulo as well. Currently, I've been working as a software developer. I'm 31 years old. What else? In my spare time, I like to do outdoor activities. I like to be here, practice my English as well. So sometimes I like to be present here just to make some networks and enjoy some conversations, because here we bring a lot of kind of topics, and sometimes it can be good to relax, not just to learn, but to spend some time. I like that. Yeah, maybe we can jump to the question number one. Uh, First of all, I would like to know from you how many interviews you applied before your first opportunity, your first international opportunity, I mean.
For real that you want to know that? I'm not sure the exact number, but I would say more 100 interviews.
Oh my gosh. So you have experience enough. You
Yeah, yeah.
maybe
Go ahead.
you you applied to that to more than 100, but that you have participated, it was about how many? Do you know?
Uh, I would say that I've applied it to more than 200, but I participate, in fact, maybe 50, something like that. Yeah. So, because I've been looking for international, to start my international career since then, 2022.
Oh, nice.
Not,
Yeah,
not,
and
not
in
nowadays. Yeah.
yeah, in this in 2022, the market for us from IT area, it was better, to
Yeah.
get an international opportunity. Nowadays, I don't know. I believe that maybe it can be a little bit hard, than before, but it's possible yet.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
totally
I've
possible. Just at least for my area, I saw a lot of opportunities around the world, not
yeah,
just only USA, in Europe, in maybe in Latin American.
yeah. The same here, you know. I've seen a lot of opportunities as well, you know, for the international market. And yeah, because, you know, nowadays can be easier to find a professional, you know, around the world than in your own country. So they are looking yet, you know,
Yeah,
for someone that can work from anywhere, you know. And nowadays, I really I really believe that you need to have more experience than before, you know, like you need to be at least a mid-level or a senior developer or a senior level, you know, to get an opportunity easier. Uh,
yeah, you're right. So I've been seeing opportunities for they require at least 7 or 8 years in that field, not your career. So, for example, I have almost 11 years in IT career, but I have 7 years in iOS development. So this is a big differential. I forgot the word. So with other candidates, so maybe might you have, for example, 15 or 20 years of IT career, but you only have 2 or 3 years in iOS development. So in that case, my profile caught their attention more than you,
I got it.
you know.
You you changed how was your career path? Like you started with uh, a specific language or tool or framework, and with the time you changed that, or since the begin you are using the iOS programming to work.
No, I know a lot of programming languages and frameworks. Nowadays, I'm a specialist in iOS. So, but I started my career as a web developer.
Oh, nice.
I've used PHP, JavaScript, SQL, CSS, HTML, and so on, So, and after 3 years, maybe four, I'm not sure, but I decided to change to mobile development. At that time, I started as Android developer. So, also, I worked using Ionic. It's a hybrid framework that you can release the app in both stores, yeah, App Store and Play Store. Uh, After working with this framework, I decided to specialize in iOS, and now I'm here. Yeah.
Nice, nice, very
And
good.
you, what is
Currently, yeah, currently I am a software, I'm a web developer as well, you know. More specifically a backend developer. So in I usually use Python and the Django framework and the Django Rest framework to build the robust and the scalable applications, you know. And since the beginning of my career, I use those tools. So I like that, you know, because I can build a strong knowledge above that, you know, and
yeah,
maybe become specialist, you know, based on web development or to build APIs, you know. And during my career, I've been using Python for another things as well, because Python is a powerful tool. And besides the web development, you can build the automations, scripts, uh, RPI, oh man, web scraping, a lot of things, data analysis,
Data analysis, yeah.
Yeah, so I have already used it uh, to create like I said now, I created some automations for my old company, and there I used the pandas as well to clear the data,
Mm.
to maybe manipulate the data, to import to our database. So yeah, I like this language because it's not too hard like the another ones, like Java or and it is very flexible. You can go to a lot of areas. Maybe it can give you more freedom, I mean. But beside that, in my last opportunity, in my last role, I needed to learn more about JavaScript as well and React because there I became almost a full stack developer. I don't love that, but I needed to learn. But I believe that it was a good knowledge as well, and maybe can help me in my future, or in some freelance uh, projects, because now I can really build the whole application, the back end and the front end, and yeah, I like that. Um, yeah, and I think a lot about it, about, oh man, I don't know. I'd like to become a specialist, and I don't know, maybe I can become a Python specialist or a Django specialist, Uh, our area, we have, a lot of paths to follow. We need to choose one and go ahead, But yeah, I like it because we have a lot of we have opportunities. You need to choose what you really want and what you really would like to follow. Very nice. Let's move on. Uh, let's start with the question number one. But feel free, if you wish, you can ask me whatever you want, and we can maybe uh, create some kind of freestyle conversation,
Okay, no problem.
because you know that when we are in an interview, we don't know what will happen, it is something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, that's it.
So let me know about it from you, tell me about a time you faced a significant challenge at work or on a project, and how did you approach the situation, and what was the outcome?
So once we had an issue in one of them our SDKs, and we have our customers were getting error when they try to access our chat. And at that time, we didn't know what is the reason that they were getting this kind of error. And we created a work group, started to figure out. So adding logs on back end and front end side, updating services, improving the experience in the app, in this part of the app, I mean, and At that time, I haven't know anything about this framework. Is the one that was missing for me to working on, and I decided to accept the challenge, and I debugged it a lot. I really understand the architecture, the implementations as well, also the communication, because this SDK uses WebSocket communication, and uh, after maybe 8 months, we decreased the errors from 28% to 1% of errors. And yeah, that's it. This is was the outcome of this challenge. And you?
Yeah, I really believe that our career, our profession, it is for the whole time a challenge. You know, we are every day face a challenge. you
Yeah,
know. And yeah, if I stop to think here, maybe I can tell a lot of them. But talking about my first opportunity, my first job in the IT area, I joined to a project that the team were big, It was like 4 or 5 developers. And when I joined, it the last of them was getting a new opportunity, So I got the project, but I needed to learn about the project about the project alone, you know. And
mhm.
one more detail, that there was no documentation, The senior was the documentation, the classic one, And
Yeah,
the project was a legacy project, It had the project had more than 10 years, But the project was well structured, But the lack of documentation, the lack of tests, unit tests, it was it wasn't good for me, because I needed to break the head to learn a lot of things alone, And I was a junior developer, and for me, it was one of the biggest challenge that I've faced, during my career, because you know I, I was the I was the center of the attention, because everyone was asking me for improvement, for, oh, I need to know how this works, And yeah, I worked like that for some, not months, but it was about a year, you know. And after that, I could have uh, a coworker to help me, And of course, I needed to teach him everything that I broke the head to learn alone, But it was good because, I was a junior developer and I needed to learn how to read the code, how to follow the path that the code was was going on, And yeah, I really believe that I learned a lot with that. Yeah, good one. And like I said before, I have a lot of other cases to tell,
yeah,
So let's move on. But I don't know, maybe I like this area because we are all the time facing something new, So it's not a massive job, Like every day you do the same, You
yeah,
learn. You. maybe you will not learn something, with some time of area of career. And for us, it is totally different, Every day you will face something new. You find a new bug that you have created before, but you fix that, and you
Yeah.
become the hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this area. Okay, let's jump to the next one. What would you consider to be your greatest professional strength? Can you give me a specific as example of when you used this strength effectively? Um, Go ahead. For me, it is hard to talk about it, about me, about my weakness and the strength.
Yeah, so I think for me, the greatest professional strength is focused. I'm a focused person. Also, I'm a fast learner. So, for example, I've been working for US company for I think 4 months. Uh, it's completing the next week. It will be complete in the next next week, next month. I mean, and yeah, I already know the whole app because I debugged it. And for example, right now I'm doing a task that I need to implement analytics events in the whole app. So I'm walking through the app and access all the screens and reading a lot of code, understanding and increasing my knowledge about the business, about the features that there are in the app, and yeah, that's it. So I would say that my greatest professional strength was fast learner, and yeah, that's it. This is the example that I have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
share you.
good one. And I like that. I would like to be like you. Sometimes I have a little. I feel that I need to take more time, to learn more about the business, and every in, during my career, I worked for different kinds of areas, and the business it was totally different, and yeah, maybe it is part of my personality, or I mean, sometimes I get just some parts of the project to take care, but I really learn more about the project when I need to refactor tasks or some flows, that help me a lot to improve the knowledge because I need to learn very well. I need to follow the implementations, and it helped me a lot. Or like your case, when you need to implement something that it will maybe bring some impact to the whole project, you need to understand very well. Very nice. About me, I don't know, maybe I consider myself a guy that I am like a detail oriented, while I'm developing. Sometimes I think that I'm a little bit bored, with details. And yeah, uh, nowadays I have a code review, so it have been helping me a lot to grow, and I can help my coworkers as well to take some insights, about the code. And yeah, I consider that it can be a good thing as well, you know. Go ahead, read the next one.
Describe a situation where you were working as a part of a team. What was your role and how did you contribute to the team's success? Before working at Itaú, I was a contractor for them, yeah, and I was working as a part of their team. And my role at that time was a mid-level developer, iOS developer, and I contributed to team's success, increasing the quality of the code of the process and creating frameworks from zero, from scratch to ship on production and bring value to the business, to the team as well, and becomes a technical reference in their area.
Very
And
good.
you,
Nice. Like I said before, I started my career using Django framework, you know, and recently I joined to a project that the guys chose the framework, but they hadn't enough experience, you know, with the framework. And when I were hired, you know, that knowledge helped me a lot to help my team, you know. Like I could aggregate a lot, and with my experience and the knowledge using the framework, you know, we could we could deliver, you know, good implementations to the business area. Yeah, it was great, you know.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so with that, like I said, you know, I've been, oh my gosh, I've been thinking a lot about become more specialist, you know, with the framework. And yeah, because nowadays I've seen a lot of opportunities, you know, to work for big companies using the framework. And even when I learned more about JavaScript and React, uh, Django and React, they were a good, they work together, you know, in some companies as well. It is like a must have, you know, for big companies as well. So let me read the next one. The question is about tell me about a time you had a professional disagreement with a coworker or a manager, and how did you handle the situation and resolve the conflict? In my case, I believe that yeah, I had this time, you know, I had some problems, not the big problems, you know. It is just uh, common problems like oh, you need to follow the the standards, you know. You need to follow the good practices, you know, like this kind of thing, and it is totally common, you know. It is an usual thing because sometimes you have more knowledge or you have less knowledge, you know, and you need to have a healthy conversation or discuss, you know, with the team to improve that, to improve some process. And yeah, I could solve that in a good way, you know. I I get, I got, I mean, some proof, some material, you know, some reference, and we did a meeting, and we could talk about the topic, and it was great, because it solved the problem. It helped it to improve the our code base, It's become more uh, maintainable, And yeah, it was good for me and the team and the whole project. And about you?
So I already had this kind of situation as well. So, but I always try to understand the opinion of other people. Also, I bring my opinion to the table, and I think it's important to have a deal. So, and oh, why you are disagreeing with me? Tell me your points. Oh, because that and that and that. Oh, okay. I agree with you in this part, but I don't agree with you in this part because that and that and that, And I think it's important to not to have a disagreement, but to try to get um, an average, not an average, to get a common solution and um, and create an action plan or something like that. So for example, oh, I think that guy wasn't performing very well, and I think it's important you if it is impacting the performance of the team or of the delivers. I think it's important you to talk about or with your manager or maybe with that guy. Oh, are you good? Are you passing something in your personal life that is impacting, that is bothering you at work? uh, and maybe you will figure out that guy is passing some personal problems or hard situations in his life, and yeah, and you will understand what is the reason of that guy is working that way,
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes have some kinds of disagreement, of course, in a good way, with respect. It can be good for you to learn, and sometimes uh, you have some knowledge about the topic, but of course, in our area, it can be hard, to be some kind of specialist or know everything about a tool, because you need to learn about a lot of tools, Uh, we need to know just an example, You need to know about CI/CD, Kafka, Rabbit, Redis, PubSub, frameworks, And sometimes you have some specific knowledge, just to solve our problem or to put the applications to up the application, to deploy the application. And sometimes with those disagreements, you can learn more about the tool. You can learn. You can maybe have some kinds of exchange of knowledge, of knowledge, of ideas, of points of views. And yeah, in a good way, it can be good for both, for the
Yeah,
team at all.
that's it.
Very nice. You have something to add?
Um, Describe a time when you make a mistake or a project did not go as planned. What did you learn from that experience? So I have an example for that. Once at Itaú, I I not changed the team, but I need to help other team that they are ending. The squad is ending, and I changed the key of the environments, and I send a PR to production with homolog key in the production environment, and the result you already know. It won't work. So the business asked me, "Oh, the page isn't loading. The page is it's uh, it's empty. Why?" So and I started to debug, and oh my gosh, I changed. I was testing because the I think it was inverse, not homolog in production, but production in the homolog, and I was testing and I totally forgot this change, and the code reviewer don't didn't see this, and so but when I noticed that I've made this mistake, I think I accidentally changed it, and so I'm fixing right now, and I will open the PR, and that's it. So I learned about that experience that uh, don't work very fast, and also if possible don't change keys, don't change API keys, SDK keys, tokens um, in the environment, so because it's really dangerous. And
Yeah,
you?
yeah. And I have already did almost the thing, It wasn't a big problem, but it happens all the time. Um, about another mistake, once I needed to renew an API key to use a bank service in a project, It was, I don't know if it was about credit cards or Pix, and there was a deadline, because if you don't renew until a right day, the process will be different, You like you need before the deadline, you just need to send a request to them, with some credentials, and you will get the new certificate, you know. But uh, if you lose the deadline, oh, the process can maybe um I forgot the word, but the process can wait, can delay for more days, like you need to call the bank, call the manager, of your account, and your service become down for some days, And I had this problem, but it wasn't my it wasn't totally my fault, because we had a board with the card to renew this API key, but the date there it was wrong, and I wasn't the owner. It wasn't created for me, from me, and yeah, it was the problem, but for some luck. With some luck, we could renew and solve that with just 1 or 2 days, But thanks God, we had another uh, payment methods, to the use, so they could use another ones. But it was terrible in that time,
Yeah,
because the financial area was, oh, we need to receive the payments because nowadays the guys are using more Pix than everything, and they are not paying, because um, here in Brazil we have boleto, and boleto it wasn't very effective, because you pay the boleto and you need to wait for 2 days to receive the money and to check the user as uh, to check the payment, and let the user free of the payment, and yeah, it was it was very uh, I forgot the word now, but it was terrible, I,
yeah,
I wouldn't like to pass that again. And I was a junior, at that time, and yeah, I was free to make some mistakes. Nowadays,
yeah,
I need to to be more responsible, and
yeah.
take care about the right things.
That's it, man.
Let's move on. Let me see the next one. Can you give an example of a time you took the initiative to solve a problem that was not your direct responsibility? Um, yeah, I've been doing that nowadays, because my team changed, and they 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 changed it to another teams, and nowadays I'm the guy that I have more knowledge about the project, so I've been taking uh, more responsibility, I'm taking more fronts. I don't know, but now I need to defeat the project, like, yo, I'd like to implement that in your project, and I need to go there and, uh, this is not the right place to do this, like it's not uh, our it's not our project's responsibility, like, yo, you are trying to implement something related to financial area in a, I don't know, in another area, that is not related or correlated. And yeah, nowadays I need to solve a lot of problems that it was not my responsibility as well. And sometimes, not sometimes, but yeah, sometimes it can be good for you, because you can learn more about the project, about the business, and maybe be a reference, about the project, and maybe grow, or just earn more job, more work. And
Yeah,
so,
For me, I have an example. So at the very beginning of pandemic, we need to go to house, yeah, work from home, and we need to set up a VPN, so also some environment to test the features and something and this kind of stuff. And it wasn't my responsibility, but I helped them to set up the VPN, at least for my area, you know. So, because we have some applications, we have some servers, environment, and so on, and we need to add a rule in the prox in the firewall to release this communication between our applications and the banking networking, you know. And yeah, so I talked with telecommunication team. Also, I talked with QA team. And at the end, I wrote a documentation how to set up the VPN in on your mobile phone. And yeah, so this wasn't my responsibility, but I understand it. It would be important to not to only work, but to help the people with that, because I if I can test my feature or access the banking environment from my home, I didn't need to go to the bank.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
You
and
you
I
you are
decided to
smart.
help, and I met a lot of people in the company. Also, my manager, I'm not sure, but my coordinator or manager was help was happy, and yeah, that's it. And you?
Yeah, it is good, you know. You when you help your team or the company, you know, uh, maybe in the future it can help you. It can open new doors for you, you know, in the future because one day someone will remember you, you know. And I've seen that, you know. I've seen some managers bring some Aussie coworkers, you know, to the company. And
Yeah,
oh, I have someone to indicate. I have someone that worked with me some time ago. It is a good professional, you know. And you need to think about that in our area, you know, because it is easier to get a job uh, from education than a recruiter, you know. And yeah, for sure, it can help you a lot. In my old company, I needed to. We had anti-process as well, you know, like CI/CD. So it was borrowed, you know. We needed to do the deploy manually, you know, and it wasn't good, you know. And yeah, I I I had experience before with pipelines, you know, and I asked them, oh, we need to implement that. It can help us to improve our process or to avoid the mistakes, you know, during the process to deploy or to check the code to run some tests, you know. And with the time, uh, with some, yeah, with the time, you know, at all, they open it, for to us to implement the pipelines, the automated process and the tests anyway. And yeah, I like that because when we change, we go to a new company, we can bring a lot of good things from the old one. We can bring some process, and I like that with the experience, we become much better. And that's the meaning of uh, it's like maturity, but we call like a mid-level, a senior. It's not a it's not just about in my opinion, of course, it's not just about knowledge, but about experience, about the challenges that you have already faced. It help you a lot to grow. And
Yeah.
with that you have a lot of you have more context to solve problems, in the future. um Unfortunately, we don't have more time. Let me share with you the survey. So let me stop the live as well.